Today is March 24th, 2019, and it's a historic day for our family. 56 or a little over 56 years ago, we moved into this house, and today is just one day shy of 1 month that my mom passed away. Today is the last day that any of us will be in this house. So when I leave in a few minutes, will be the last time any of us Bostons will leave this family home. So I'm going to give you a quick tour of the home. So bear with me. So this is the outside of the home. When we first moved in back in 1962, that room right there was a garage, and the front yard was grass, and there was a big maple tree out in the middle of the yard. That maple tree had some fond memories. When I was in high school, I used it to hide a poncho that I tied up into the tree on Halloween. It was on a hanger and some fishing weights, and whenever the little kids walked underneath it, I would drop the poncho on top of them, and it would scare them to death. I got in trouble because my mom said that I was scaring away all of the little kids, and so I couldn't do that anymore. One of the characteristics of this house is the cat on the chimney. That's been there since before we were here. We were the second owners when we moved in. So apparently the first ones put the cat up there. But that's how, when we first moved here, we could recognize our house all the time. It was with the cat on the chimney. So let's go inside the house now. We're going to go into the living room. And this is the living room. A lot of stuff out now because I was gathering things for the hauler to start taking things away. But the living room has a lot of memories. Eventually, well, when we first moved in here, this is where my first memory of moving into the house was. There was a couch right over here, and I remember sitting in that couch thinking, oh, I am 4.5 years old, and I thought I was pretty hot stuff being 4.5 years old. My brother was only 2, so I thought I was pretty cool then. All this stuff kind of homage to that saying that one person's treasure is another person's junk. All this stuff that my mom treasured, nobody wanted. And so it's headed out to either to be donated or to be taken to the dump. That room that you saw that was the garage, there was a door right there that went into the room. We'll go into that room in a little bit. But then eventually that door was covered up and no longer used as a door. So we go around and go into the different bedrooms. This is hallway to the bedroom, bathroom in the back. When we first moved here, the only heater was right here in the wall where that thermostat was. And I remember on those cold mornings, I would get up and I would sit in front of that heater. I would put my clothes in a semicircle around me and get dressed in front of the heater. This room, we call it the small room. This was my brother's and my first bedroom when we moved in. It had these bookshelves, and shortly after we moved in, we had a bookmobile come over, park across the street, and I really liked that bookmobile. We eventually bought lots of books, and we had that bookmobile filled up. I put due date slips in all of those books, and I would check them out, and I really enjoyed having those books there. This closet, anybody heard the story about, my brother and I always had a hard time getting along together. And so before I knew how to read and write, that closet is where I went inside and I took permanent magic marker and I wrote the letters F-O-B, I said that they meant that Eddie was stupid. I didn't know that F-O-B was my dad's initials though, Franklin Orland Boston. And when my dad found out, not only was he mad because I'd used magic marker, but he was mad because I used his initials that said Eddie is stupid. So that caused a lot of trouble. And this bedroom, originally this bedroom was my grandparents' bedroom. So my grandparents moved in with us, and for as long as, well, for the first few years, this was where they lived. When they moved out, first it was used as kind of a playroom. We had our toys and stuff in here. There was a dartboard on the door or on the wall, but we weren't supposed to use it because we did use it once and put lots of holes in the wall, and I got in trouble for that. When we got Debbie in 1966, this became her room. And then after we came back from Colorado and I started high school, this was my room. So my bed was under that window. Then of course this was the original bathroom, or the only bathroom. And then we'll go into the master bedroom. Now, the master bedroom used to not go past that one wall. It now goes over what used to be the porch, which I had a lot of fond memories of playing summer days on that porch. This bedroom was shared by, let's see, my brother had it one time. I had it another time. When I was a senior in high school, I made a movie for a project and I did it in this room. And then the bathroom, which was not a bathroom when we moved in, but it was added into a bathroom shortly after so that my parents could have a bedroom. This was my parents' original master bedroom. It is kind of messy right now because this was my mom's room that she spent years in her bed creating messes. And we go back this way. This is the dining room, and the dining room ended where that hole in the wall was. There was a window there that went into the back porch, or that looked out on the back porch. So we had a lot of family gatherings here, dinners, birthday parties, whatever. And then the kitchen. Kitchen has just been recently redone. And then door out into the garage room. Now when we had that door in the living room going out to that garage room, the refrigerator was at this door. We actually blocked the door off so you couldn't get in and out this way. And then you look over here around the kitchen where the refrigerator is now. There was a wall there. That cabinet right there was not there. And so we had a little like kitchen table over there for like breakfast meals and lunch and things like that. Go out into the garage room. Well, first of all, we have the utility room with the washer and dryer. We added this bathroom over here. And then the garage room. In the garage room, a number of us use the garage room as a bedroom. My brother and I shared it for a time. My parents used it as a master bedroom for a time. Right there is where the door was that went into the living room. There was a set of steps that came down to it. First few days after we came back from Colorado, both my brother and I used this room again until everybody decided where we were going to stay. And then we turn around, where that entertainment center was a sliding glass door. When we had a swimming pool, we would use that glass door to come into this room to change our swimsuits. So back through the kitchen, and we go into the family room. This was added on when I was a senior in high school. Actually covers the old patio. There was a kitchen or a door from the kitchen that led out onto the patio right there. So that spot right there is where my grandfather passed away back in 1964. And then the rest of the room. So we'll go outside for a second and look at the backyard. So what was neat about this backyard when we moved in was how untouched it was. It was basically in quarters. So of course that room wasn't there. So over here was a sidewalk that ran the perimeter of the house, and so over here was an orange tree, and we used that space for a garden area. Back over here was a shed where we kept ducks, and then there was a little fence that kind of worked its way around this way to kind of separate the very back part of the yard from the garden. And then right about here, going across there, was another fence that kind of divided it out, the yard, into the quarters. This part of the yard, probably right about here, was a tree house. So of course, the 4.5-year-old that moved in here, that tree house was one of the neat things about moving here. We had to take it down after about 3 or 4 years because it was decaying and rotting, but we had fun and enjoyed it while it was here. Right about there was a great big pepper tree. It went clear up into the sky above the lines, and we would climb it virtually every day that the weather was nice and could climb it. Under the pepper tree about there was a swing set, and then the ground was just bare ground with, you know, weeds and grass and things like that. Along this fence line was another fence that came out about 6 feet away from it, separating the PG&E right-of-way. And so behind that fence, so between the two fences, was just wild country there. And as a young kid, it was fun to explore that wild country. Then we go into the fourth quarter of the yard. We had fruit trees here. It was kind of leftover orchard stuff, or it was kind of like our orchard. When those trees died, we put a swimming pool, a great big 24-foot diameter swimming pool here, and we had that pool up for years. Over here, that shed wasn't there. It was actually not much there. We did have a shed over here, which my dad did a lot of workshop things in there, and it was another fun place to go explore all the stuff that he had that was stored out here. So that's pretty much the house. So like I said, when I leave, it'll be the last time that any of us will be leaving this house. So make our way to the door, and we'll say goodbye one last time. All right, it's been an interesting 56 years. Bye.